Plato and Aristotle, oh man, these two are like the ultimate power couple in the history of philosophy. Seriously, you can't even begin to understand how philosophical thought has evolved, especially this thing called dialectics, without diving deep into what these two geniuses brought to the table. Now, even though they're both from the same Greek tradition, and get this, one was actually the student of the other, they each cooked up their own unique perspectives that, believe it or not, actually complement each other. So let's talk about Plato. When we think of his take on dialectics, what pops into mind is the famous Socratic Method. In Plato's dialogues, Socrates, who is the main guy, goes around asking a bunch of questions, like a total detective, just to reveal all the contradictions in people's arguments. It's like he's playing dumb, pretending he doesn't know, just so he can get the other person thinking critically and dig deeper into whatever they're talking about. Take the dialogue Euthyphro, for example. Socrates asks this guy to define piety, right? And the guy says, "Oh, it's just whatever pleases the gods." Boom! Socrates points out that the gods themselves might not even agree on what they love and hate. It's like, one god loves it, the other hates it. This contradiction, it's just brilliant, and it forces the guy to rethink his entire definition of piety. But Plato wasn't just about tearing down arguments. Oh no, he put it all within this bigger philosophical context. He was trying to access this world of unchanging ideas, or forms, like the blueprints of our material world. In The Republic, he doesn't just look at what people think justice is, he looks for the eternal idea of justice itself. So for Plato, dialectics is this tool that helps you go beyond just what you see and hear, and it takes you on this amazing journey towards these higher, unchanging truths. And it doesn't stop there. In Gorgias, they're talking about what rhetoric really is, if it's just about persuading people, or if it's about finding real truth. And in the Symposium, they get into love, from your everyday crushes to this deeper universal love that's all about absolute beauty. And then, in Parmenides, Plato goes and challenges his own theories, showing you that dialectics is absolutely necessary if you want to refine and elevate philosophical theories. Now let's switch gears and talk about Aristotle, Plato's most famous student. He had a slightly different approach to dialectics, seeing it more as part of this logical framework. In his work Topics, he distinguishes between demonstrative reasoning, which is based on facts, and dialectical reasoning, which starts with commonly held opinions. These common opinions, they have to be tested, examined, and maybe even refined until they can become actual scientific, demonstrable facts. This method really shines in his ethical writings. In Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle starts with these common ideas about justice, like giving everyone what they deserve, and then he uses dialectical discussion to take into account all the circumstances and contexts, finally arriving at a more precise understanding of justice. Aristotle also uses dialectics to find those first principles in science, because sometimes you can't just have immediate certainty. By comparing different viewpoints, he is able to formulate theories that can actually be tested. So for Aristotle, dialectics and demonstration go hand in hand. Dialectics helps you refine arguments and separate strong premises from weak ones. And if you have all the necessary premises, you can move to scientific demonstration. And if you don't, it stays in the realm of dialectical inquiry, which he considered just as valid and valuable. Now, even though Aristotle was influenced by Plato, they both went down their own paths. Plato's dialectics was trying to elevate the soul to this realm of eternal forms, explaining these moral and metaphysical ideas. Whereas Aristotle was more about methods for testing and refining opinions, preparing to replace them with real science. But despite their differences, Plato and Aristotle, they're like this powerhouse duo in the history of thought. Plato gave us the framework for this dialectic that's all about reaching truths beyond the physical world, and Aristotle offered a more reality-based approach centered on logical examination and widely accepted opinions. And when you put both of their visions together, you get this incredibly balanced philosophical perspective that combines the search for transcendent truths with precise analysis of observable reality. Their works, they're like the ultimate guide for philosophers, logicians, and scholars in the humanities, continuing to guide intellectual debates to this very day.